Hello there. Happy May 7th. So I just wanted to reflect a little bit on what I think of when I see May 7th in the calendar. And I am going to share a little bit about what's happening with my company right now. But as we all know, the floor seems to be moving beneath us, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to share some things that are happening, some things that I'm excited about. Some of you may know that we serve both organizational leaders as well as young professionals, helping both of those key audiences meet their goals through impactful internships. And I'm just one of many business owners who's looking around right now and saying, okay, I think we do really need to re-strategize here, right? So I am going to be throwing out some reflections, some ideas, and requesting some feedback. So I thank you in advance for watching the replay, or joining me live and dropping your thoughts in the comments. Much appreciated in advance. So I am Amy Mosher Berry. I'm the founder and CEO of Visions Internships, and I want to just share what I think about when I see the date May 7th. So my papa, so my grandfather, would have been 119 years old today. So I just want to give a shout out to Rudolph Eisler. You were the best papa. You were always so happy to see us, and you would really do anything that myself and the cousins wanted you to do, including, you'd play all the games, sit in the front seat when we had our home shows. You worked with us with the tickets. We got to tie your shoes together under the dining room table. We had a blast with you. And I always remember there was even one time where I think we thought you were sleeping and you were doing your snoring in your favorite chair. And we actually put a clothespin on your nose. And somehow, I still don't really know if you were sleeping or not, but you fell backwards with the clothespin on your nose and you appeared to still be sleeping. So I thought that was like so hilarious. I will never forget that. So happy 119th birthday to my grandfather, who's not with us physically here, but always on my heart. And I also want to say it's so sweet that when he married my grandmother, and so it was a second marriage. So this was, my papa had married my mom's mom, and they would have celebrated their 55th wedding anniversary today, which is really sweet. I remember that my papa said he picked May 7th to marry my Grammy because, what a great gift. So I always thought that was so sweet. Okay, so apart from my May 7th reflection, what is it that is coming up for both the young people and the organizations? I do want to say there's a lot actually happening over the next couple months with my company, Visions Internships, serving young professionals that I'm very excited about. So a few things this month. So we are having our event this coming Friday at 2:00. I call it the career mapping tutorial. So a lot of young people, they're trying to figure out, based on where they are now. So let's imagine point A is where you are now and point B is where you want to be in your career. So basically helping you map out those action steps based on your goals and trying to identify any gaps or blocks. So that's a really helpful session that goes from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern this Friday, May 9th. Again, the career mapping tutorial for young professionals. And we also have something coming up that could be for young people or organizational leaders, my friends and colleagues, if you guys are around Worcester next week. So next Tuesday evening, it is Tuesday, May 13th, and it begins at 6:30. I'm going to be one of two guest speakers for our local Central Mass PMI, that's Project Management International local chapter here. And I'm going to be speaking with a new colleague of mine named Andy, and we're going to really be looking at career topics and positioning, also building the future project management workforce. How do we do that? I'm certainly going to be speaking to some of the best practices that I've seen around working effectively with young professionals today, as well as starting to put together a project-based but customized internship program for companies, especially during these uncertain times, because it is a great opportunity for companies to take action, not have to make that long-term commitment to hire. So would love to chat with you about that. But that speaking engagement, and there is a small fee to attend that. So DM me guys if you're interested, but it's also because it's a dinner meeting and it's based at Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts next Tuesday. Again, that's our local project management chapter meeting, which is a great opportunity to network, and they do serve some good food and you'll get some good insights. So think about that on May 13th next week. Let's see, next week as well. So on Thursday, May 15th, and I believe this is actually a sold out event, but if you're going to be at the Central Mass Conference for Women, I am going to be one of the exhibitors at the Conference for Women. It's going to be at the AC Hotel downtown Worcester. So a lot of Worcester, a lot of Wootown time next week. I'm excited. So, and I mean, it is a public hotel. If you wanted to like hang out and see the exhibitors, I am going to be there more so kind of in the lobby outside of the conference. So that is all day, again, at the AC Hotel, the Central Massachusetts Conference for Women. And a shout out to Jen Masita, who puts on these local conferences for women, as well as our local chair of that event planning is Miguelina Peralta, who I know many of you know. So let's also talk about what else is happening this month. So Wednesday, May 21st, which is the third Wednesday of the month, we've been doing these Gus Bus Get Support Before You Submit sessions for young professionals. So that's an opportunity, first come, first serve, sort of a small group coaching. It's on Zoom from 12 to 1 on Wednesday, May 21st, and young people can come with your questions. Please feel free, be willing to share screens. So if you take the initiative and you can show me your screen, so show me, a draft of your resume, cover letter, we can look at LinkedIn, we can address, any particular questions that you have regarding your career, where you're feeling stuck. It's sort of like open office hours, which I find to be sort of fun. And I just sort of have it in my calendar here. This is more of a mom note, but as a mompreneur, one of the advantages of being a full-time entrepreneur, I get to be the chaperone for my daughter's second grade field trip. It's going to be in a few weeks on May 23rd. We're going to the Ecotarium again in Worcester. So this is like a Worcester theme. I'm very excited about that, and a shout out to entrepreneurship when you can make it work and raise littles. So something that I definitely need to say, and there's going to be more on this, you guys, is going to be the conference that is coming up, designed for purpose-driven young professionals between the ages of 18 and 29-ish. So that is going to be happening again in Worcester on Friday, June 20th. Friday, June 20th. It's all-day event, goes from 8:30 to 6 p.m. And it is incredible, you guys. I think just because I'm on a little bit of a roll right now, I am going to share a little bit more about what will be happening at this Career and Leadership Conference. It's our second annual Career and Leadership Conference for young professionals. It's like really our signature event supporting young people that are looking to level up, looking to develop themselves as leaders and step up their career. So we're going to be doing some, and I should say that this is also co-planned by young professionals that I've hand selected. So we have 5 young professionals on the planning committee, which is a really nice leadership opportunity for young people. And they've been helping with this agenda. So I'm just going to give you a little sense of what to expect if you do know 18 to 29-year-olds that would benefit from our annual conference happening in Worcester on June 20th. So we're going to be arriving, some, obviously welcoming opening remarks after we do some icebreakers. We're going to be having the young people actually help to facilitate some of the intros and icebreakers. It's going to be really fun, sort of like, speed networking and group storytelling, and that will be co-facilitated by our amazing young professionals. We have a morning keynote speaker. Some of you may know Nancy Cantor. Shout out to Nancy Cantor. She's going to be doing an incredible morning keynote all on becoming your own chief dream officer. So really the tools to create a life you love. And notice that we said life, not just career. Career is a very important part, especially when you're in your 20s, a very important part of your life, but it is not your entire life. So Nancy's going to be giving a really great 4-part framework for young people. Then we'll transition into a wonderful workshop that's going to be delivered by my conference co-coordinator. Her name is Susan DiClementi. Some of you may know her. Susan, shout out. Going to be helping all the young people identify their actionable personal core values. So a full conference workshop on identifying and leveraging those personal values. Then we're going to have a lunch break, and it's going to be sponsored by Taco Bro. Ramon, my boyfriend's amazing, authentic Mexican food truck, is going to be providing our lunch that day. Then I'll be moderating an afternoon panel and discussion all around effective networking, tips and techniques, hearing from three incredible panelists. We have James, we have Stina, we have Miguelina. You guys will get a lot more information online. And after that incredible panel on networking, and again, I want you to think about, young people, especially since COVID, they're feeling like, oh my gosh, that's very intimidating. Where do I even go? Who do I talk to? What do I say? So we're going to give some really great insights and, what works and what doesn't work. And then at the end of the conference between 4:30 and 6 o'clock on that same day, June 20th, we're going to actually be inviting a bunch of other people, that have that support for young people and have that compassion that, let's help them practice to actually network in person. So we're going to be creating essentially a simulated but real world professional networking event at the end of the conference. So that's very exciting. And that event, I should say, you guys, this is a full day in downtown Worcester. The main conference will take place from 8:30 to 4:30, and that will be in the White Room, which is at 138 Green Street in downtown Worcester near the Crompton Collective. It's an amazing downtown spot, very cool, a lot of natural lighting. We've got hammocks, we've got plants. It's just an awesome place. So shout out to Louie and Birgit from the White Room. So excited that you guys are hosting and collaborating with us. And then at 4:30, the last portion of the conference actually takes place upstairs in that same sort of rehab building. It's a beautiful spot, and it's going to be upstairs at the Birch Street Bread Company in the same building, but upstairs where we'll be having that real world professional networking experience. So if that's something that you guys want to come to from 4:30 to 6, we would love that added dimension where you can come meet, greet, and support young people during that time. That's wonderful. So after the networking panel, as I mentioned, we're going to be having 4 simultaneous breakout sessions that are, I can't even believe the quality of speakers. So thank you so much if you've agreed to be a speaker, a sponsor. We could not do this without you guys. So let me just go over some of what's happening with the breakout sessions on June 20th. So the first one is going to be around anxiety and resilience, really being able to identify the hurdles, the sources of stress, and how to jump through them. And that is going to be facilitated by 2 incredible professionals, Meredith and Ronnie, and supported by one of our young professional committee members named Amy. So hang in there. I know this is a lot, you guys, but I am so excited to share a little bit more about this session and, of course, get a little bit of your feedback as well. So I appreciate you guys being here live, or if you're watching the replay, it makes a huge difference. So thank you. The second breakout session that will be happening, again, we're talking about what's happening at the Career and Leadership Conference, which is a second annual conference for purpose-driven young professionals between 18 and 29-ish. It's going to be happening downtown Worcester on Friday, June 20th. And we're talking about the 4 simultaneous breakout sessions that will be happening right after lunch. So we just talked about the anxiety and resilience workshop that's being run by Meredith, Ronnie, and supported by Amy. We're going to talk next about breaking through. So this is essentially leadership at every level. And this is, one of our amazing young people, Bianca, she actually said, I really would love some support, some insight on how do I get leadership or management experience when I'm not yet a manager per se in terms of my title, right? And I thought that was so incredible. So Bianca, thank you so much for that insight. And we've been able to lock down James Goldsberry and Becky will be there co-facilitating actually with Bianca's support. So stay tuned for more information on the leadership at every level breakout. That's going to be incredible. We are going to have individual social media posts on each of these breakout sessions. So breakout session C is called Zigzag Career Strategies. We have an amazing, couple of people. They go by Russette or Russ and Miguelina, supported by Ashley, who's on our Young Professional Committee member. And they're going to be talking about what is it like to sort of have a plan initially for your life, for your career, and then for things really not to go the way you had planned, right? So it's one thing to plan the work, you work the plan, but life happens, and it's really how we show up in the gap between the way life is planned and how it goes that makes a difference. So they're going to be sharing some really insightful tips on that. I'm very excited about that particular session. I think it's very timely, and a lot of interest has been expressed around this idea of navigating the inevitable zigzags in our careers, right? Really at any age. And then finally, the 4th simultaneous breakout session that will be happening at the conference is going to be called In-Demand Skills from project management to AI, artificial intelligence, which I know is all the rage now. And we have Dr. Denise Arruda, who's going to be speaking with us alongside of Urvashi Batra. And these women are just like top notch and supported by one of our most incredible young professionals on this committee, Brian Lewis Cummings. We could have not done this without you. You've done such an incredible job. He's going to be supporting that final breakout session as well. And then we'll have a little bit of a break. And then I do want to really rave about our afternoon keynote, which is one of our core sponsors, is an app development company based out of Westboro called Decision Me. And Decision Me is led up by Glenn House as well as Michelle Tempesta. Both of those two key people on their founding team are going to actually be live speaking. We got them to speak live as our afternoon keynotes. They're going to actually allow young people to download the app for free for up to 30 days, I believe is the agreement. And they're going to be, based on all the work the young people would have done earlier in the conference, they're going to have the ability to really identify what are the most important critical decisions that they need to make at various stages of their lives. So, if they're 18 to 22, it's sort of like, okay, am I definitely going to college? Am I staying in college? What am I studying? What am I doing with my life? If you're a little bit more so into your 20s, either should I go back to school if you left, or should I go back to grad school? Or maybe, you're later in your 20s and you're looking at, 30 on the horizon saying, is this all there is? What am I doing with my life? So a lot of these big decisions that really can stress us out, Decision Me has built a solution to help people identify what's most important to them, identify the key decision-making criteria to be able to make decisions, really important life and career decisions with more peace of mind and more confidence. So thank you to Decision Me. Thank you to Glenn and Michelle for coming out and all of your support, as well as Emily on your team. You guys have been wonderful to work with. So that will be our afternoon keynote with Decision Me. And we're going to do some, those of you who know me, I'm a huge fan of reflection. We're going to reflect and identify key takeaways and next steps. And then we're going to transition upstairs, as I mentioned, to the professional networking event that will be hosted upstairs at the Birch Tree Bread Company, again, downtown Worcester. It is the first day of summer, my friends, so we are going to have summer mocktails and some tasty apps to then transition you into your Friday evening, your weekend. There's some awesome things happening in Worcester that night, by the way, even right there at the venue where we'll be. They have live music every Friday night, so shout out to Birch Tree Bread. It sounds like it's going to be a great night. Thank you again for having us. And also, I think there is a Woo Sox game and some other fun things happening because, again, it is the first day of summer. So if you do know any career-motivated, purpose-driven young professionals, young people between the ages of 18 and 29, this is definitely the place to be for them on June 20th. So super excited. Thank you so much to everybody who's been a part of that. You guys can tell I am very passionate about serving young people, empowering them to live their best lives, especially if you think about where a lot of young people are at today. They didn't anticipate, that COVID would sort of occur at all, and of course occur when it did for them, where a lot of them didn't get that professional foot in the door. A lot of them were still in college, or plans really drastically changed, and they may look like they're grown up, right? And they are, but they may not have the kind of confidence, even if they do hold that college degree. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're feeling confident about themselves and their skills and their decisions. So this conference, it couldn't be more timely, especially with the level of uncertainty I think we're all facing today. So that's a lot of what's coming up. Obviously, that's a lot for young professionals. And I may have mentioned that my company, Visions Internships, we do serve both young professionals, but primarily, believe it or not, we serve the busy organizational leader, helping them set up and run a great internship program so that when we are matching or connecting young people, that there is, really that program infrastructure so that the internship model really does work for both the young person and the host organization. So that is our main thing for organizations. Guys, I'm just going to share with you, I'm going to be like really frank with you. I've been getting some coaching, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you're always open and coachable, practicing what you preach, right? And I've had a couple of coaches say to me, you've got to pick the one audience and just go with it, because it feels sometimes like I am attempting to run two businesses inside of one business called Visions Internships. And, I've thought long and hard about this. And, I do really have my young people to thank for for the fact that I even have this business. So I do have the young people to thank, and I don't want to just throw the baby out with the bathwater, although I have realized the missing piece is really supporting the right people inside of a company, whether that's a for-profit or nonprofit, helping them set up and run their own internship program, a customized internship program that meets their needs. So, right now it appears like a lot of what we're doing is for young professionals. And, yes, in this season, I would say May and June in particular. And I do struggle sometimes with this. And of course, my daughter is here. Hello, hello. You're on. You're probably going to get the most views right now. How was school? Good. Amazing. Can you just give me like 2 or 3 more minutes? No. Okay, I'll be off very shortly, but if you can. Okay, can you give her a snack? Yeah. Okay. Hilarious. Well, I'm surprised I didn't just have like 25 people, right? Because you're so darn cute. This little one is she'll be 8 on Saturday, my friends. Can you believe that? So do you have anything you want to say? No. Okay. Go get a snack and I'll be with you in 2 minutes, okay? You do. This is going to be this is a really funny live, you guys. I love it. It's very authentic. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep rolling here. Oh. Okay. All right. So a few more things that I wanted to say, although maybe I should cut it short and we should come on another time. So I was going to ask you guys a little bit of feedback, looking to get feedback from both of our key audiences. So that's the organizational leader, wondering from you guys, given especially the state of affairs right now where there's, high uncertainty, it is a little tricky to predict and plan, forecast spending, that sort of thing. So one thing I'm thinking about for organizations is focusing a little bit more on helping my organizational leaders work effectively with today's young professionals. So supporting you on how to both attract and retain the young professionals that you are looking to bring on board. And of course, I'm biased, but I do believe that the internship program model is a really wonderful way to basically still get project support, secure access to talent, but in a way that you're not having to make the same kind of long-term hiring commitments. So that is something that I'm sort of digging into a little bit deeper. But if you're an organizational leader and, you're looking out at the rest of 2025 and saying, we've got to be able to move forward in these key priorities. If you guys can give me a little bit of insight as to where you feel like you're struggling right now and where you feel perhaps I can help in terms of my thought leadership around, maybe it's not upfront. Maybe it's the first priority is not developing an internship program per se. Maybe there's something that you're struggling with before that we can work together and then transition and determine if it makes sense to do an internship program. So that's something I'd love a little feedback from the organizations. Very close. And then we're going to just talk briefly about getting some feedback from young people. Okay. Young people a little bit older than you. From my young people, one thing I've been seeing, because I do offer a lot of free programming for young professionals. And what I'm thinking about doing, and I would love some feedback on this, instead of just having these various free sessions where, we'll have a small handful of people each time. But I'm thinking of actually sort of packaging that. And instead of doing perhaps the longer training, right? Like I do career and leadership training. I'll do that over, 4-week stretches twice a year. And then outside of that with the conference and some individual career coaching, the rest of our stuff is basically just free for young people to jump on a free session. So I'm thinking about perhaps packaging what I offer for free and make it like a very low ticket item where, let's say it's the first month is always free just so people can test it out. But I'm thanking of doing, you guys, don't you love this? Don't you love, if you guys are if you guys, have, what would you say? I'd say if your kids are like under 10, and we're trying to get work done and be productive. So I am going to wrap up here quickly. But the thing I wanted to say to young professionals is, you know, the tendency, if we don't pay attention. And so I'm noticing I'm offering a lot of free programming that young people aren't necessarily taking advantage of. Now, granted, I absolutely can and will do a better job marketing a lot of what we do. That's another issue that I'm working on with my team. I have had some turnover with my team, so we're working through better promoting what we're doing. So I'll own that. But I'm thinking, you know, with our one-on-one, I do, you know, 25, even up to 45-minute, what I call career checkups with young people. I also do these, as I mentioned, I do career mapping tutorials, helping young people identify where they're at, where they want to be, what's keeping them stuck, and coaching them, helping them identify some next steps. So I think that's a valuable session. I'd like to keep that in the calendar, but maybe make it part of like some sort of a virtual career club, right? Maybe I'm almost thinking of calling it, what was I calling it? I came up with a potential name, Early Career Success Network, kind of like a network supporting young professionals more year round. That's sort of what I'm getting at. Offering the other sessions that I mentioned that get support before you submit. So I'm doing, you know, live group coaching. You want to take this? And I think, again, if young people can have these different things on their calendar, they would take advantage of that more. And I think it would be more helpful rather than sort of have like these bigger programs, you know, where it's like a stressful launch. It's like, let's just have something that's more casual that can meet young people where they're at. But I would love to hear from young people. Where do you guys feel like you're struggling, especially with the current state of affairs? Where do you feel like you could use a little help, support? And a reminder, guys, if you watch the beginning of this or you go back, we are having, you know, those sessions that I mentioned. Those are free sessions. Obviously, the conference is not a free thing. That's $95 for the whole day, which includes everything, including feeding you. But that is something, if you're wanting some additional support, take advantage of what I have that is free right now. So if you're around this coming Friday, May 9th, from 2 to 3 o'clock, DM me, let me know. That's the career mapping tutorial. And I've already got, I think, 5 or 6 young people signed up, which I'm excited about. So just kind of let me know what you're thinking, what you need. If you have any questions for me, we are kind of looking at how we're offering services to both of our organizational leaders as well as young people in a way that really, you know, meets the moment. We need to meet the moment in business and in life. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I know there's a few of you that are on here live. I really appreciate this. I am going to go give my almost 8-year-old a snack. So with that, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you, everybody. I hope you're out there enjoying the sun after so much rain. And please reach out, let me know what's going on with you, and I would hope to see you in some of our upcoming events. So, all right. Oh my goodness, you are something. You want the last word?
Bach.
You see, all these, see, now more people are joining because you're live with me. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll wish Reba a happy 8th birthday. And that's all I got. So hope to see you guys soon. Take advantage of the nice weather. Remember, whether at any age, if you guys, this is the moment. If you're here in New England with me, especially May and June, do not let May and June go by without getting out there and networking, meeting, you know, expanding your network. This is totally the time to connect with new people. So, all right, everybody, thanks again. We'll talk soon. Be well.